stuff. All right, good morning everybody. As you can see, it's nice and early in the morning, probably about 15 after 7, I guess. We're gonna start working on this fender on this 57 bright and early before the sun starts beating the crap out of us. So I'm gonna show you a couple of things that I figured out getting. Well, I haven't got the fender all the way off, but I think I've got it close enough on how to remove the fender from a 57 Chevrolet Bel Air. All right, now on this model, if you'll notice, the headlights, where's my doohickey? Right there. All right. The bezel that goes around the headliner has this grill in it, and this grill is to let air in through this ductwork up in here that runs all the way across the inside of the fender, comes down through there, goes in around your feet on the kickboard. So you got some bolts. You have to take the bezel out. You have to take the headlight bucket and all of that stuff out with all your perimeter bolts. And then you've got a bolt here, a bolt here, and I could have swore there was one more. And then of course when you take your bucket out, you're going to have a bolt here, a bolt here, and that attached to this. The rest of them attached down here. So that gets this loose from the inner fender. Now what I'm going to try to do, I've got every bolt out, as you can see. What I'm going to try to do is slide this fender forward and get it off. I was wanting to remove the fender and inner fender all at one time. The problem is there's a cable, this cable right here, that feeds a flap, an air flap inside that hole right there, and it's connected to a pin up in the top of the fender, and I can't get to it. It's got a clip on top that has to come off before you can get that cable off. And like I said, this is a budget. Okay, so I'm not wanting to break cables and have to replace all that stuff. So I decided, after I got everything loose, that I would try to remove the outer fender separate from the inner fender so that I have a better view of that mechanism under there and I don't break anything. So I'll update you when I get the fender off of it. All right, as you can see, got the fender off of it. And about all I had to do was, after I got those bolts out of it, was pull the fender towards the front of the car, and then I got spinny around off of this ductwork. All right, now what I'm going to try to do is get this section of the ductwork off, and you'll notice it has a support arm that goes through this panel. Which this panel is going to be replaced. But I'm going to see if I can just grab a hold of this thing and pull it off. I don't think it has a bolt that goes to it. Got a big old rat hotel up there I gotta get rid of. It's separated, so the only thing holding it in is this right here on this rubber lip. So we should be able to give this a whirl and come off. All right, there's that piece, and believe it or not, nut, and this car just shocks me. Not a rust hole nowhere in it, and you know that this thing caught every bit of the rain as it was driving. I don't know. This thing shocks me. Let's see. We've got this wire unplugged. So, in theory, we got one wire down here still connected. All right, I got that. Aha. All right, it's got a bolt that goes through it right there that was hidden by this. It's still got the factory undercoating on it, which is what has saved a lot of this, even though you look over here and you go, it didn't save much. Well, you'd be surprised. All right, I'll bring you back. All right, so real quick, I wanted to show you something. So if you can imagine, your heater box is actually setting up like this, sort of bolted to the inner fender. And then you have your heater core back here under the dash. This is this valve with this vent I was telling you about, and this little clip right here. So my goal is to get this clip off, and they're pretty simple clips, but I don't want to break it. So, but anyway, your how this thing works is, you know, you had this piece going up to the headlight. You have this blowing hot air from your heater core into this side of the tube, and then you have this valve. And so on your heater controls there on your dash, hanging down right there. So if you want hot air, well, then you would pull this. It would close that vent. You'd pull this. It would close that vent, stop the air from coming in this way, and flip your fan on, and it would pull hot air out from your heater core and push it in to your inside, which is right down here at your feet, right there. So you have this vent that goes on. But anyway, I'm going to try and hold the camera and get this clip at the same time. Not really for sure if I'm going to be able. I don't want to break it. Alright. Now that clip is off. Just snaps here. Now I should be able to get this off and bring that up out of there. Alright, now what I'm going to do to try is I'm going to just simply stick this back on. because I don't want to lose it. And yeah, it'd probably cost me $1.99. That's not the point. The point is, I don't want to have to buy another one. I would just rather keep it intact. Now, what we're going to do is make sure we don't have another bolt in here. Which we do. All right. There's the other bolt. So let's look in here and see where that bolt is. Right there. Do you see it? I see it at about 12:30. All right. So we're going to snatch that out and we'll pull the rest of that ductwork out. We'll set it aside. That side of the underhood section will be all cleaned and gotten rid of stuff and out of the way and stored out of the way. And I will get to it when the time comes to get to it. Let's see. Oh, I did get the door off. And like I was saying, man, this car has never been apart, ever. And I know that from several different things. All of the factory black tar sealant was still in place behind the headlight buckets. All of the undercoating and stuff was unbroken in between the fenders and the firewall. There's just a lot of telltale ways of telling. And you know, but now you have to also remember that it has 99,000 miles on it. It was only driven from 1957 to 1971. So there was no real reason or need for anyone to have taken the car apart. And it also seems like to me that the worst part of the car is the passenger side, as far as rust goes. That's where the holes seem to be, and that's where the thin metal seems to be. And so I don't know where this car was before I found it, but it's sat over close to the house since 2017 in the same spot. So I don't know. It's just surprising of all the cars that I've fooled with and over the years, the things that I would typically struggle with and just can't do and aggravating. It seems to be somewhat easy on this car, like bolts coming loose and stuff like that, even though in the really bad sections of the car, some of the bolts I had to, you know, persuade to come out. Places that I'm usually seeing water get has not gotten on this car. And like the door took me, I don't know, a minute and a half to get the passenger side front door off. The bolts just zinged right out and the thing just dumped out in my hand. So that makes it a little bit easier. And but I just thought I'd show you. Matter of fact, side front door, and yeah, it's rusty. Not one single hole, nowhere in it. The door's as solid as it can be. And that's one of those things, like I was saying a minute ago, usually, you know, you're going to be replacing the whole bottom pan of the door, the outer skin, and so on and so forth. But this thing's in excellent shape, and I'd mentioned it on I think probably the first video I did about, you know, this car don't have a dent in it, nowhere. Except that one, that very small one that's in the center above the back glass. And it just basically looks like a kid sat there is what it looks like. And I haven't tried it, but it looks like one of those dents that I'd be able to reach right on the inside and pop right out. So we'll see. But anyway, that's where I'm at so far. And all right, guys, I'll keep you updated. That's going to do it for this video. We got the inner fender and outer fender off. We got the duct work and everything out of the way, laid over here to the side. Not for sure. Well, I've already located this panel. It's so far gone that there's really no sense in spending any time fooling with it. I think the rest of it is quite savable. I've already put the inner fender up under the trunk so it don't get rained on so much. As far as where we're going next, we'll pick up with a new patch panel, and we'll be dealing with some of the rust down here and up front. But that's going to be in the next video. And until then, y'all hit the like button, leave your comments, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you're notified every time I put new content out. And we will see you on the next one.